Hello and good evening. Welcome to the show. Happy to be here. A lot of interesting things going on. I want to say hello to everyone, especially to all the usual suspects that are in the comments. Happy to see everyone. Judy, sorry to hear that you're not feeling well. I see Allie's out there, Gerald, Jim, the great Phil Munson, Coffee and Barbells, Kate, who's close to me here in Massachusetts and is also dealing with some snow today. We had a bit of a storm today, more slush than anything else. It's pretty miserable. Snowblower didn't really want to toss it off of my driveway, but we're on the other side of it now. This house is getting over the stomach bug that's going around. My advice to everyone is wash your hands. Wash your hands very thoroughly. I'm embarrassed to admit I was the first one to get it. It knocked me out of commission at the end of last week. And then my poor daughter got it over the weekend and then was back to normal today. So we're now keeping our eye on my wife. So good to see everyone here. I just got a letter today from Chris Science. Super psyched to get into that. You might be able to see it over my left shoulder. It's my plans for the evening once we finish our lovely broadcast. So very happy to have everyone here. Pretty interesting week. Lots of things going on. I am filming with Nick from Stridewise this weekend. Really have no idea what to expect there. I'll be switching gears from fountain pens to menswear. Many of you know that I write articles for menswear over at Stridewise and have kind of had a side career in my life as a writer about men's fashion. So if you're interested in that, you can find me over at Stridewise too. And shortly you'll be able to see me on some videos, which I'm really excited about. I have no idea though what to expect. I know we're filming one about Barber, the English jacket brand. We'll be filming one about LO Bean boots too, which I just wrote. So that should be super, super fun. So look for that. So I see Jim Kerrigan saying, get a bottle of rock and rye. It takes care of every little illness. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Definitely need something to knock these bugs back. But feeling much better now personally. So Wendell is sending a letter my way. Good to hear, Wendell. Thank you very much. Super excited about that. Wendell got a typed note from me on the Royal P with the Vogue typeface, a very rare typeface. So you'll see a video on that coming up too. Lots of exciting things on the channel. By the way, speaking of which, something I am so super psyched about, guys. And it's funny how quickly time passes, right? Do you remember when I was telling you I was filming a video on the top 5 pens for dark academia? And you said, well, when is it going to be posted? And I was like, March. And March seemed so far away. Do you remember that? Because I sure do. Well, guess what? It's now this Friday. So it's a really interesting video. If I can be immodest for a moment. My editing is getting better. I've been watching a lot of YouTube tutorial videos, and I just feel like as I unveil the top 5 pens, the way it evolves and the way the pens sort of emerge out of the narrative and how they look with a little bit of narrow depth of field and in a certain setting with the light just right and the editing and the music, I'm pretty proud of it. So I hope you guys like it. Never know what is sort of popular and isn't popular on YouTube. It's a tough thing to predict. You just don't know. I know personally I would rather do more interesting, what I call high concept stuff, like the Dark Academia video, which will be broadcast starting Friday noon Eastern Standard Time. So that kind of stuff, I think I'm better at that than I am on the regular pen reviews. I think the pen reviews are good. I think it's valuable information. But I think you guys, for me, I think you like lists, you like process, you like journaling videos, you like a little history woven in. So I think you're going to see some more of that kind of stuff rather than straight up, here's a review of a certain pen. Although you may see that too from time to time because it's it's very important to get some information out there. So Gerald, like me, is sort of agog that tomorrow is March 1st. It comes up quick. So I am super excited that the Dark Academia video is going out there. It's pretty interesting. I got dressed up for this video, so I think you're going to enjoy it. It's definitely different. Okay. So let me tell you some other stuff. I'm finally have that queue that I wanted. Remember, I told you I'd like to have a month out of videos ready to go. I finally have that again, and I'm trying to build momentum. My business life has been very busy, so I've had to do this at night and on the weekends. And I finally have built up a bit of a queue. So I'm feeling very pleased about that. Within that, the Dark Academia, of course, there's a couple of really interesting stuff out there. Really, really fun. There's one on the Twin Tank Touchdown, which you'll see, which was a pen that Brendan Schmidt sent me. Very nice of him to do some TikToks with, which I've done a few. And by the way, I should let you guys know that the brackets over on Atlas Stationers are now live. So you can pick your top pen. So go over to Atlas Stationers, sign up for that. He's doing big prizes and stuff. I'm excited about that. I have to do it myself. I have something beeping over here, so I need to needs my attention. This is a shutter release, which I use when I make videos, and for some reason, sorry, it came alive randomly. So Kate says there are tons of reviews. I like your takes on pens and lifestyle. I appreciate that. I think that's what I do best. So I think I'll be mixing a lot of different stuff in, but I think you'll really like some of the lifestyle stuff that's coming out. I did one on typewriters and fountain pens and a particular very rare typewriter that's kind of fun too. So Shane's excited for the Twin Tank Touchdown. That's an interesting one. More straightforward for me. It's me really getting to know the pen and inking it up and trying it out and all that great stuff. So I think you'll like that. Ali J's a big fan of the Dark Academia video. Ali, I think you'll like it. I really do. I mean, I'm a big fan of my own video. You know, like, I'm very immodest about this one. I mean, there's ones I really like, and sometimes I feel like my own videos are okay, and sometimes I'm like super proud of them. I think that I really liked my Jinhao 82 review video, but then when I watched it on playback, I noticed that the camera was a little shaky, and I guess because I edit on a MacBook Pro, I missed that. And then once I watched it on the television, I was like, you know, that camera's a little shaky. So from now on, if you're really attendant to my videos, you'll notice probably a shift from my desk over to my breakfast bar, because my breakfast bar has a granite countertop and it's very solid, whereas my desk is rickety. So I'm not going to do too much on my desk anymore when it comes to showing myself writing or typing or anything else. So think of that. M.A. the Gray says, bring on the Dark Academia. Yeah, I will. Friday at noon. I'm super excited. We have libraries, we have cemeteries, we have everything you would expect. We have a historic New England town, we have Tweed, we have literary references, we have a bit of heart. You know, I think I'm at my best in my videos when there's a narrative and there's a little bit of emotion to it, and not just sort of a sterile review. So I think you guys are going to like it. Amy D says, congratulations on over 5,000 subscribers. Thank you, Amy D, but thank you guys more. Thank you all so much. I've decided I'm going to stop whining about the amount of my subscribers, because I think 5,000 is, a nice number, and I'm pretty happy about that. So I'm not going to whine about how YouTube doesn't pay attention to me, even though it doesn't. But, I'm going to try not to, because, it's just, I need to be positive, because we're such a good group. That's one thing I really love you guys. I think we really have a fantastic group here. And I play for the crowds, and you guys are the crowd. So, yay, Chris is psyched for it. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate your feedback. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think if you want to see more stuff like that. It's kind of the direction I'm heading in. So I think you guys will really like it. So very good. I'm trying to keep up on some of your questions. I want this to be more interactive. Makes me a little schizophrenic because I kind of have a show, and then I like to see what's going on in your comments as well. So Gerald says, we're not that critical of your filming skills, Hemingway. We enjoy your personality, opinions, and content. Gerald, I appreciate that, but I am critical of my filming skills. I mean, I just am trying to get better at it. And I actually, right before showtime, finished a video I am so proud of. It's not going to air until April at this point, which is brilliant. I'm very pleased about that, but I'll tell you more as it goes along. But it's a really fine video, and I think it will come out really well. So let's see. Oh, Wolf says, Kate says, congrats. Thanks. I appreciate that. Chris Sign says it took 5 years to reach 5,000. Oh, no kidding. Wow. Thanks. It was about 1.5 years. So I appreciate that. We're good. We're doing really good, guys. And we're doing it together, which is the right way to do it. So I appreciate that. And all the members, you guys keep me grounded. There's a lot of fun stuff back in the membership. I hope you guys saw some of my bloopers. I used to take the curse words out. I think I'm going to leave them in. I don't know about the F word. I mean, occasionally that creeps in. But we'll see. But some of the other ones I might leave in. I'll just put a little warning up so you guys know. Kate says, I think you're one of the few fountain pen people that do lives. I really love this format. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep the schedule. I really like doing it on Tuesday nights. We have some really great guests coming up. We have Chris coming up, which we're really super excited about. And then there is someone scheduled after, but we will concentrate on Chris. It's going to be absolutely amazing to sit down, have a really nice chat on our process, on the pens we like, and all that. I think it'll be super, super fun. John Manuel says I rock. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind. John Hartman with a very kind comment. Don't tell the artist his art isn't as important as his message. Thanks. I do get a lot of there's a lot of satisfaction for me in trying to create something. That's why I was really psyched with the Conway Stewart video, because I had a vision and I was able to realize it. And it's not easy. It's amazing how much stuff is behind paywalls and how difficult it is finding just the right music. So it can sometimes be a slog. And the other thing too, I think we were speaking about this last week. Some of my videos have 8-second cuts in them. And if you do a 12 or 15-minute video in 8-second increments, that's a lot of editing, guys. So that's kind of what I deal with. And I know a lot of other channels, they just post these kind of things once a month, but I can't. I just can't. Emmy the Gray with a very interesting question. Maybe I should have made this a Q&A this week. It seems to be the direction we're going in. Do I use tarot in my journaling? If it's okay if you don't want to answer that. No, I answer everything. MA, I don't use it in my journaling per se, but I like to use it sort of conversationally because for me, it's a really fun and interesting structure to have a really nice, close, intimate conversation with someone. And that's how I view it and have always viewed it as sort of a framework from which to hang a conversation and a really great way to get closer, mostly with my wife, because that's who I do it with. We do readings back and forth with each other. So super fun. Most of the ones you see on the shelves are hers. Mine are over here. So I think I have about 5 decks and she has almost 100. So, but yeah, I really do like it, but I just don't use it for journaling, but maybe I will. So you gave me something to think about there. Thank you. Mike Rivera, just found your channel 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm slowly going through most of them. Nice job. Hey, Mike, thank you. I appreciate that. I hope you'll see a progression. You might see it as a reverse progression. You'll see it as a regression if you go backward in the catalog. I think it took a little time to find my voice, but I think we're doing much better. So thank you. Thank you for that. By the way, super psyched because some of you guys know that I'm a bit of a Cartier fanboy, and this coffee table book came out today. The Cartier Tank. I guess it's not tank. French guys on YouTube are saying, it's not tank, it's tank. Like, well, I don't speak French, but I thought that was interesting. And then the gentleman said, it's not like we say appel for apple. I thought that was funny. But anyway, Cartier coffee table book. So much fun. Has the history, has some really brilliant photography. I don't know who. I think that was Yves Saint Laurent. But all the really beautiful wristwatches. I think you guys know I just have a weird thing for Cartier. But here it is. Oh, sorry. And to tie it back, yes, I do have a Cartier fountain pen. The Cartier Diablo, one of my favorites, which hasn't been on the channel in a while. It might have to get some more screen time. Miss Marilyn Darling, I love doing lives. It really gets you involved in the community. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good point. You get to know people so much better. That and the letter exchange that we're doing with the Cognoscenti and Illuminati members. I have written so many letters, you guys. I typed 2 and I wrote so many. But I enjoyed it. I really did. And I felt like it was such a great, or it is such a great way to get to know you guys. So I'm super excited. John Manuel, check out Emmy's questions. Oh, I did. Okay. Chris Signs says, I can't wait, and I hope I can meet the technical challenges. You know, Chris, if you're really worried about it, we could do a dry run before just to check. It's just I kind of wanted to keep some of that, like, you know, almost awkwardness when you first talk to someone, because I think that's what makes a live interview exciting, that you're really getting to know each other on camera. I think that's brilliant. But if you really want sort of a better sense of calm, we could maybe 5 or 10 minutes before, like, jump on one and just test it. So that's something to keep in mind too. So very good. Wendell likes the shirt. Thank you. I'm kind of dressed down today because I was shoveling. So shoveling and trying to snow blow. Wow, I got way behind. I was talking. Now I'm like 10 comments behind here. So I'm not sure I can keep up on all of them. But I see some good questions. Evan Otto asks, what pen have you been using today? Great question. Maybe it's for the crowd, but I'll answer it. I have been using the Waterman celluloid Waterman 5 with a flex nib. And I think it's time to revisit the flex nib narrative that has been a thread through this entire channel since inception. So I think that would be super fun. So I think you're going to see an upcoming video there. David Pruitt, I would love a fountain pen coffee table book if one exists. Maybe that's an idea. Maybe we need to get on that. I'm still trying to figure out how to do stickers. But I'd like to do some stickers. I want to do Write Your Way Through It stickers. And maybe see you further up the road or something. Oh, that might be fun. So, John Manuel, I love the letter exchange. I sent one out today. I'm so happy. Chris says, it's okay as long as I know what to do. Okay, brilliant. It works just like Zoom. So it should be easy. Or as I say, what could possibly go wrong? That's what I say right before I spill ink. What could possibly go wrong? I'm going to use a vac filler and a very tall, narrow bottle of Ferris wheel press ink. One-handed. What could possibly go wrong? So we'll see how we do. So very good. So Maryland does not have snow in California, but it does rain there. Okay, so it's really funny. I picked a comment, not a comment, but I picked a topic for tonight's live, and I almost don't feel like doing it because I'm in a different mood now. I think I was a little dark over the weekend. I am, in a way, I have a lot to do right now, getting ready for Nick from Stridewise to come up and some work things. Work is always a priority. Actually, it has to take priority over, YouTube and other things, except family, of course. And with my daughter being a bit under the weather, and there's nothing sadder than a 6-year-old who is sick. So my wife was actually amazing, like heroic in taking care of her. So, I mean, some of it was like in the middle of the night, and then I heard about it after, which is horrible. And I always feel bad, but my wife, like, gets back into bed, wakes me up accidentally, and I'm like, oh, what happened? And she's like, oh, well, I just, did what I did. And I'm like, wow, I'm so sorry. But she's absolutely brilliant. But so anyway, so I think I was kind of overwhelmed and sort of trying to get everything done. And I have a really good friend of mine who is under extreme stress and is in one of those mental states that I used to get into before I really got beyond some of my struggles using journaling to document it. And it reminded me of how things used to be. And I also was happy to be a good friend for someone else, to be able to be there. And then I also kind of realized that at some point you shift. You are the one who is helping rather than the one who is seeking help. And maybe that's part of your journey. And maybe in many ways, in many different parts of our lives, it's part of our journeys. That when we become the one who teaches, who has a bit of wisdom that they can impart, that it means you have internalized your own lessons enough that you're ready to share them. And I don't think any of us are ever fully whole or out of the woods, but I think it goes far once you're sharing. So in talking to this person, a very professional person, a very successful person who is talking about their, just their stress and their struggles at work. And hearing that, and I'm saying, well, it's funny how a lot of things go back to the basics. That even someone who is struggling with work things, stresses and things, that it's really rooted in not feeling safe and not feeling secure, and how much of our lives are based on that struggle, right? Of trying to get safe. And how I think journaling is that heroic mission, that struggle of being one person with one set of beliefs and mindset, and then transforming into a more whole, more effective person. And I know in my own life, my own struggle was based on coming out of a certain family structure and saying, I don't want to be that. And then almost sort of dismantling everything that I was based on what I learned there, right? And then sort of reassembling who you are as a person. So when you are rejecting all that awfulness that you've known and you've seen in that chaotic, traumatic childhood, and you come out of it as an adult and you say, I'm not going to be that, but then you have to choose what you are going to be. And you have to assemble yourself almost out of other sources, literary sources, books, even films, or just trying to get in touch with your true wants and interests. It's all a bit befuddled when you don't feel safe and you can't properly express who you are as a person, if that makes sense, and I hope it does. So I think for me, journaling was that struggle. Journaling was trying to dismantle the little box that I would put myself in. So anytime I was in an argument, even with my wife early on, I would be like that, like the character in Get Out, when the lady takes the tea and then he goes into that dark place and he's just falling away. And I was like so closed, I couldn't even speak. And it used to frustrate people so horrifically. And I know it was bad for people around me because I would just shut down and I would almost go like kind of comatose, So it was 50 times of me writing that struggle down and saying, like, why couldn't I just speak? Why couldn't I just say? Where I ultimately was able to break through those patterns and those bonds. And it was really journaling that did that for me. It was journaling that got me into the next level, And I think also love. I think love is important because it's the motivator. You want to be effective in a relationship, you just can't be a jerk. So I feel like it's very much like taking a mask off. Like you wear a certain persona as armor, and you need to strengthen who you are as a person so that you can take off your armor and your regular self is strong enough to take over. And I think that's kind of how I am now, or more so. Certainly more in command of who I am as a person, and not really concerned about how I look or how I dress or anything else. Like, it's much more self-motivated. So anyway, I think in journaling, you have to ask yourself those brutal questions and face up to things when you're wrong. And sometimes that's tough to admit to another person, but it's easy to admit to yourself in a book. Once you see it many, many times, you're like, uh-oh, maybe I am the villain here, or maybe I can change, maybe I can be better. You know, that's the struggle with journaling. So Miss Marilyn Darling asks a great question that fits in with the narrative. Do I show my journal entries to people? Occasionally I share stuff. In fact, with the members we play a game called Journaling Roulette, but not the really deep self-examination stuff, more the travel and aesthetic stuff, or the historical stuff, or the opinion stuff. Not the, not the like ruffling around in the dark attic looking for ghosts stuff. But I think at some point, they'll either be destroyed or they'll be dispersed. I prefer they were dispersed over destroyed. I hope my daughter gets my journals one day and knows who I am as a person fully. And of course, by then she'd be all grown up and understand everything that's in there. And I think that would be special, because if we could explain ourselves accurately and fully to one person, even in our lives, I feel like that's some kind of a victory. And I think my journals probably do that better than anything else. I hope to write a book one day, and maybe on some level it would do that. But I don't think much can beat journaling when there's a 20. I mean, my journals now go back 24 years in full that I still have. It's a shame I lost the ones before. But if you were to see that narrative, I mean, I was 32, 31, 32, 24 years ago. And it's been a lot of learning and a lot of change. And it's all described in vivid detail in those journals, the good, the bad, the ugly. And I don't know, I think I'll be able to rest easy one day knowing that my daughter, and my wife too, although I think my wife knows me from conversation really well. I'm lucky to have an incredibly honest relationship. But, you know, my daughter, especially, Miss Marilyn Darty, oh my God, you don't look your age. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm feeling old. I'll be 56 in May. So we're getting there. We're getting there. But I'm trying to stay active, you know. Dana with the Batman line, right? That's kind of like a theme of Batman, isn't it? Dana Moore, the armor you choose is often a reflection of who you really are. That's a great quote. I really like that. Well done. Love it. So, Amy D, I love listening to your stories about your personal growth. It makes you so human and relatable. Thank you. It's hard sometimes, but thanks. I think it's important because the number one reason I created this channel is to keep you guys inspired and motivated and kind of being better people. I think journaling can make you a better person. So I don't know. But I know that I don't want to hide who I am. I think this is a great forum for expressing myself. And I think you guys, it becomes more rewarding, rich, and fuller for all of us if I am transparent. So, and now that I'm safe, I can be, because I'm in a much better place. So Gerald says, I'm 61, so I feel you, Hemingway. Yeah, well, it gets younger every day, my friend. Oh, Linda Cooper, happy birthday. Feeling great. I'm so glad to hear. Happy birthday. Terry Edginton says, I started journaling to get through my cancer. Helped tremendously. That's wonderful. It's good to hear. It is a fantastic tool for struggle. What's funny is lately I have not been journaling too much because I'm really happy right now. And happiness does not make for great journaling. There's a lot of creativity in my journals right now where I'm speaking about sort of inspiration for future articles or future YouTube videos. But there's not a lot of real profundity right now. It's more like little vignettes of my daughter's upbringing, which is something else she'll have when I am gone. So she'll also know how much I love her, which I think is great. When she reads my journals, she'll see that she's been really the focus of my life. So, Barbara HP. Depending on what's going on in life, sometimes when I journal, it's just a commentary on events of the day or week. Other times, it's a stream of consciousness, brain dump. I relate to that comment very much, and I agree completely. There are times when my journal is more of a diary, where I'm describing daily events and maybe a few opinions on it. There's other times when it's much more a project. And it's me taking on an idea or whatnot. I mean, I'm just pretentious enough occasionally where I take on some of the biggest questions in life and do my best at answering them. I do have a certain really fulfilling and accurate, for me, view of how the world works that really makes me happy and situates me properly in events, if you will. I have to keep drinking to keep my voice going. So I have... Oh, hey, Simon Koopa's here. Hello, Simon. Wow. Marilyn Darling likes the goblet. Thank you very much. Anthropology. My wife and I bought all our dishes at Anthropology, and it's all mismatched because there were like 2 plates we liked, and there was no one full set we could commit to. So we have like 2 of one bowl, 3 of another, and it's a whole big mismatch, and we're very pleased with that. But part of it is these goblets, which we also really like. So it weighs like a pound or 2, but that's okay. So Ellie J says, it's great that you're capturing the happy moments. It helps to get back to those entries when you don't feel great. Help you way back to the good days. That's true. They do. And my journals are still very much like a time machine for me. There are times when I pick them up and I read an entry, as I often do, because they are right here. They're all right here. So I'll go in and just like pull one out. Here's one. The date, 2009 to 2010. Ooh, I have a really cool quote here. I'm going to read it to you guys. It's not really a quote. I wrote it. So it says, within a span of time, some empires rise, some voices silenced. I'm guessing this one is juicy. This one sounds like I was having a rough time of it. Ooh, Copper Burst, guys. Do you remember Copper Burst? I think, is that Private Reserve ink? Copper Burst? One of my favorite colors. Yeah, see, like, this is interesting. I'm looking in here. I'm not going to read anything, but I'm at the library in Boston. I lived in Boston at this time. So I was tooling around on my little red Vespa in Boston at the reading room studying Italian. And I used to do that for hours on end. Very, very interesting. But you read that and it takes you back. It takes you back to that time and place. Almost like you're there. You can smell it sometimes. By the way, this is a journal from Artesian Carta in Venice. And they make these beautiful journals. It's a nice raise, a bit of gold. Very nice. These were my favorites before Bottega Obscura. Now Bottega Obscura is my favorite. But I'll show you another one. Chris, I have to move your letter. Your letter's right here to get to this. So this is in a slightly better shape. That year must have been rough. Did you see the shape that journal was in? I mean, this one looks brand new. This must have been a much gentler year. It's a little dirty, but this is 2012. See, now, this is amazing. Like, this would never happen now. This journal is from December of 2012 to October of 2015. Like, that would just never happen now. Because I would fill this up in 6 months right now. Except for the last month or so where I haven't been writing very much because I'm happy. I'm just looking. There's always a bit of ephemera in there. So, lots of fun stuff's in the journal world. You guys know I love journaling. I get so much out of it. I try to journal every day, even if I don't say much. Sometimes just a few sentences. So, avec poésie. I organize my journals on my shelves just like you. Hey, I'm so happy to hear that. I just got to the second shelf after all these years. This is my last journal. This is a Bottega Obscura journal. These beautiful bindings of his. Just amazing. And let's see how long this one lasted. So this one was May 11th, 2022 to November 26, 2022. So that's what? 4 months? 4 months. No lines in this one too, guys. So I cut myself somehow. I don't know how I did that. My hands are so desensitized, I hardly ever feel it when I get cut. I kind of have chef's hands. I can like touch really hot things. My wife freaks out when I turn over like sausage or something. Yeah, Band-Aid. I know, and I have. I think we have baby shark Band-Aids too, which is really, really fun. So that's very good. I'm trying to keep up with your comments too, guys. So I have a really interesting video that I am doing that came out of my personal experience. And that is that I occasionally forget to bring a pen to work. So it got me thinking, what is the perfect pen for work that you could bring and maybe leave at your office? But here's the kicker. Because I don't really want to encourage people necessarily to buy new pens, it had to be one I already owned. And it couldn't be a Mont Blanc. It had to be a pen that's not getting a lot of love and should, that I could go shopping in my own pen collection. And I want to encourage all of you to go shopping in your own pen collections. So that's an upcoming video. Okay, Antoinette's got a comment here. It's kind of long, but I want to get into this. Antoinette aired. I'm scared to go deep with my journaling. My writings used to be read when I was younger and used against me. This is something you get over eventually, right? I'll be honest. I mean, Antoinette, it's tough, right? You're talking about betrayal at a very deep and personal level. I think you do get over that someday, but you get over it when you're in that safe place with someone who loves you and you feel safe, or if you live alone and you feel completely safe. But you're talking about in relation to someone else being able to read it. So let's Let's figure it within relation of with at least one other person. I am at the point with my wife where I wouldn't mind if she picked up my journal and looked at anything she wanted. She knows everything about me. So it wouldn't bother me. I'm sure there's things that are secret that are in there somewhere, but still, I think after a time, you get over those things, but the betrayal is hard, especially if it's a family member. I think that takes a long time. And I think it's sort of sad that often the ones that cut us the deepest are the ones that are closest to us. So I'm really sorry that happened to you. And I hope it's something you move beyond, but I wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily not journal as a consequence, but maybe be a bit more discreet about it. There's certainly ways to hide journals. Some of them look like books. Maybe I should do a video on hiding journals. I have a journal here somewhere. I was hoping it was handy. It doesn't seem to be. That says complete works of Shakespeare on the side or something like that. So it's an interesting way to hide a journal if it looks like another book. So I just hope you get to a place where you can freely share with someone and someone celebrates you and your weirdness and your uniqueness and doesn't leverage what they know about you against you, because there are few things as insidious as that. And I'm really sorry that happened. Laura Cherie says Antoinette can try a burn journal. Unless she feels safe enough, she can remove and burn the pages daily, weekly, or as she chooses. That's true. That's true. Or lock it somewhere online. Laura adds, or until she feels safe enough. Yeah. I mean, certainly, you definitely don't want to have weapons out there that people can use against you, which is really, really sad. Miss Marilyn Darling says, same goes for books that cut out bottles for hiding the alcohol. Exactly. Kind of same idea. I suppose you could get an X-Acto knife if you had a big book. Be sad to ruin it. Make sure it's like Dan Brown or something. I'm only kidding. I'm only half kidding. But if you had a big book, you could certainly hide something in there. So yes, very, very interesting stuff. Let me see. Great Lakes Cruiser, HJ, I imagine you with a very formal double fountain pen desk set. I don't have that. You know what I do have at work? I always have two pens. I have my Kaweco Lilliput, and as much as I love that pen, it's not ideal as a backup work pen because I take a lot of notes at work and all that screwing and unscrewing. I love Kaweco pens. I am a fan of Kaweco. I have at least 10 of their pens and I love them, but they're a bit like hobby kits, right? Most of them are designed for longer writing sessions because otherwise you're going to be doing a lot of assembly and disassembly all day. I mean, that goes for a lot of screw caps, but sometimes with Kaweco, it goes the extra mile. Now, the Lilliput is brilliant for being that one pen that's on you at all times and is your backup pen, and then you put it together and you can sign a check or something or a receipt. But for taking notes at work, it's a bit much. Now, I do have my little Jet Pens bag, but I often forget to bring this. I take this to work. I've shared this before, but I'll share it again because it's Jet Pens, and everyone loves Jet Pens. So, for one thing, how great a pen case is this? Who made this? Smart Fit. Smart Fit. It's beautiful, right? And I have a little diamond memo pad in here. And then the always necessary transparent ruler, which I believe is in the metric system. I have, sorry for the noise, guys, but I think this is very important. right? I mean, platinum preppy, guys. Come on. How great is that in blue? Oh, it's so great. Although I think I do like the Pilot Kakuno better because it's cute. I love pens that have personality. This is something I could not live without. I couldn't get through the letter exchange without this, guys. Does anybody know what this is? This is paste. So it's like a magic marker, but instead of color, it gives you paste. And you can glue your envelopes without licking them because no one likes licking envelopes. So this is brilliant. I love this so much. Then I have this. You guys remember this? I love this thing. It's so cool. So you take the cap off and then you push these bad boys down like that. And you have a beautiful pair of very good, effective scissors. And then when you're done, you put it back together, push these back up, put the cap on, just like a pen. It's the size of a pen, and it's a pair of scissors. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Now the next thing is so simple and such unmitigated genius. How many times do you use a highlighter and it gets really destroyed by other ink? And then you say to yourself, why did I put it on that black ink or what have you? Well, here's the one way to fix that. This is a highlighter. It's neon yellow and it's a pencil. I mean, how great is that? It's such a genius idea. I love it. And not only is it a pencil, but it comes with a sharpen cap. So you put the cap on, and then when you need to sharpen it, you just sharpen it. I mean, it's just so great. I love this stuff, guys. And of course, I showed you the roller. So if I bring this, I'm all set. This is all I need for a day of work. But sometimes I forget to take it. Also, sadly, the cap doesn't fit. So I have to take it off when I put it away. But it goes right here, which is fine. It's not like it can dry out. So absolutely brilliant. Really great stuff. Yep. Amy D, those are from Jet Pens, Gerald. They are indeed from Jet Pens. Simon Krupa, do the scissors qualify as a gadget? I believe they do. They are really good scissors, too. Oh, this side. I'm getting my Superman curl. When my hair gets a little long, it does this Superman curl. But I'm getting it cut tomorrow, so... David Pruitt says Jet Pens is dangerous. It really is. You can definitely lose a lot of money there. So it's so great. Jim Carrigan says the same. Jet Pens is dangerous. Truly, but so much fun. Such a fun, interesting store. Because Japanese stationery is brilliant. It's very quiet here right now. It always is after the snow. So it's very nice. Gin Talus. Very cool. I've been wondering what to do about highlighters. Now I'm exclusively using fountain pens. Well, there you go. The highlighter pencil. Is there any neon fountain pen ink? I don't think so. But there could be. Gerald says, why wait to get a haircut? Use those scissors. My barber would be very upset if I ruin my hair. I'm very upset. Wendell Booth asks, what wine are you drinking tonight? It's not wine tonight, my friend. Tonight I went a little bit out of the norm and I am drinking Guinness for strength. Because I had a long day And I didn't have much for dinner. My wife made cottage pie, but I also cleared snow, so I think I'm burning a lot of calories. Yeah, I just noticed someone disliked our live. That's so sad. I wonder who didn't like the talk about becoming a better person. That's very sad. So, Noodler's Firefly. So there is some neon out there. It wouldn't be my first choice, guys, but it is pretty nice. Oh, here's another thing you guys might appreciate. So, in that month-long queue of videos that I have is one called The Case for Fountain Pens, and it's similar in tone to the cursive writing one. It's sort of its spiritual sequel, if you will. Excuse me. So I think you're going to like that. There's your next video idea, fountain pen highlighter inks. Yeah, there you go. I could dump into that. Definitely could. Amy D says, you have a great head of hair, HJ. Thank you. I think that's the one thing that's making me look somewhat younger than I actually am, that the hair is staying on. So let's hope it hangs in for a while. But you know what? If it goes, it goes. What can you do? I'm also not going to dye it. I can't do anything phony. And when I say I'm not going to dye it, I mean my hair. I should probably dye it. But that's a different story. I use a lot of wide angles. That's why I look chubby in my videos. Simon Krupa, just circle everything in Yamabudo and that should count as a highlighter. Indeed. I have it in my TWSBI VAX 700R Iris right now, and it's pretty great. Terry Edginton says, maybe the dislike was a fat finger. Oops. I don't know, maybe. I mean, you know, it's someone's right. There's a dislike button. If people don't enjoy it, they can dislike it. It'd be nice if people liked it, you know. Sometimes I wonder when I look at my videos who dislikes them and why. It would be interesting. Like sometimes you get very angry people in the comments, but they don't often give you good feedback. And sometimes I try to get something out of it, to glean something. But sometimes people have a certain point of view and something runs afoul of it, and then they feel that they need to avenge it. And sometimes it's a storm and it just has to rage, and you happen to be the medium for it. So I'm trying to be a lot more philosophical about my critics, but I do prefer my critics when they say stuff that is actionable. You know, I watch a channel that is a watch channel, and it's called The Urban Gentry. And the guy who does it is very eloquent, very interesting. And he has a certain sort of laid back vibe to him most of the time. But he uses this way of transitioning his scenes, where he takes an old UHF pattern and that really noisy UHF noise. If you're over 40, you know what I'm talking about. It's that I don't even want to try to emulate it, but it's very staticky. It's like an intense, fast repeating static. And he uses that as his scene transition. And I left a comment and I'm like, I love everything you do, but why do you use that? It's destroying your vibe. Like it almost makes me tense, and I'm starting to not want to watch him. When I do my transitions, I do mostly hard transitions where you basically take two scenes against each other and it just flips. I find they're great for timing with music. Or I do a crossover dissolve. And I've been doing those manually, so it's kind of fun. You can do a quick one where it just dissolves right into the scene, like passes in a second and a half. But you can also go back like 10 seconds if you want, if you have a long enough clip. That's always my problem. And you can have it fade slowly and then have the one beneath it emerge slowly. So I find those are gentler transitions. So you need to be gentle with your audience. If I am speaking in this sort of a voice and I'm talking about fountain pens, and then I take a book and I drop it on the table, that's not very nice and it's not very enjoyable. You sort of need to know your tone, you need to know your pacing, and you can play with your pacing. I think the best videos and the best YouTubers will alternate their pacing where they're soft and a bit hard and a bit energetic and a bit soft. I try to do that with my music, but most of the time I'm in NPR tone when I speak and doing my best to pronounce words correctly. So very good. Oh, Miss Marilyn, darling, we're going to put up the name of your show so that people can see it. And all those watching from home can go and check out your YouTube. So very good stuff out there, guys. Great Lakes Cruiser says a video on your writing process would be a winner. I do some of that with journaling, but I suppose I could with writing. I do have a certain process about writing. One of the things I'm falling into now, guys, which is really interesting, and this has never happened to me, and that's that as a writer, which I feel like I am primarily, rather than a videographer, if you will, a filmmaker, in a way all of us on YouTube are, I write the script sometime, and it feels done. I then have trouble filming it. And they're right here. I have scripts written for fountain pen videos I never filmed. And I have one written for one that I scrapped. I spoke about this before. It was how to develop a unique signature. I have the script. I filmed it, and I didn't like it. So I didn't think it was up to my standards. So I scrapped it. So I need to refilm it. And here's the script. There's some other scripts here. There's some really good ones here. I just need to film them. But the problem is I write them and I feel like it's done. I have one half written on my favorite ink company, which is Gerban. And I have the history and I go into some nice language here and I need to finish that. So it's really funny. I do a lot of this. And at least I always have ideas. I would hate to run out of ideas. Wendell Booth, subscribe. Everyone subscribe to Miss Marilyn. I'll put it up again so everyone can see it. Everyone subscribe. We're a small, tight community here, and we need to stick together. Miss Marilyn Darling says, you have the most interesting pronunciation of anyone I've ever heard. I very much enjoy it. Really? It's that peculiar. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. So hit me with some questions, guys. It's after the hour. We should keep rolling. Ellie J, sometimes ideas need time to marinate. They do. But the thing is, they feel done, But there's some really interesting stuff that I want to do too. And I think I'm going to do some other kind of counter programming. Like one of them I want to do is on the Layul wine opener and maybe a little bit on wine. Something charming and short that I could throw up on a Saturday. not where it would necessarily take the place of a fountain pen video, but would supplement it. And I'd like to have a few of those videos, maybe on the weeks where one of my videos isn't doing that great. So it kind of keeps up the comments and keeps me engaged, which I really like. So here's a great comment. Great Lakes Cruiser. HJ, you've mentioned a few times that YouTube is your new home. I'm curious how your YouTube experience has been better. I can talk to that, and Brendan and I spoke a little bit about it. The thing about TikTok is that it's kind of phony. It's sort of manipulated. Almost all of your followers on TikTok are fake. They're not even people. They're just bots. One of the things that's really funny about my experience on TikTok was in my first 12 months on TikTok, I went from no subscribers, as one does, to 116,000 in a month. Not in a month, in a year, which is good. But now in another year, I only went up 3,000. Now here's the weird part. From May until right now, my subscriber count hasn't changed. And even though a couple hundred people a day, subscribe or what have you, the number never changes. It's 116 point or 119. I think it's 119.2 thousand for I don't know, almost a year. How is that possible statistically? And the other thing that happens is you get a video that's really popular and it'll just stop. Or you'll release a video on TikTok and you'll get 1,000 people look at it in 10 minutes. And then for the next day, only 200 more. Like, it's all engineered. It's all controlled by whatever algorithm. TikTok is kind of awful that way. But where YouTube is better is it's hard to get subscribers on YouTube. It's hard to get people to follow you, especially the way people even interact with YouTube. On TikTok, if you're watching a video, you can just hit a button and you're subscribed. On YouTube, you have to go to a different screen often to subscribe. So it's a process. So for someone to take that step is extraordinary. It'd be nice if YouTube had a little subscribe button right there on the screen. Now, I watch it on my television. So for me, it's like a 3-step process to subscribe to someone. So I just feel like YouTube is much more genuine. I feel like each of the 5,000 people that are following along on this journey are real people. And there's real people who interact with your videos. So that's how the experience has been. And that's why I like it here. I feel like it's more of a meritocracy. And I feel like you put something really good out and eventually people respond to it. And I feel like the channel is really gaining momentum. Miss Marilyn Darling, on a TV, it's difficult. It is. Like, I watch YouTube either on my iPad Pro occasionally, but I'm mostly on my LG, big screen television when I'm watching YouTube. I actually watch a lot of YouTube. I don't watch a lot of television. So, I don't know. I'm on Instagram too, guys. If you want some more Hemingway Jones, you could go to Instagram. Gin Tallis, I find TikTok to be an assault to the ears. It is. It's a different place. It really is. Chris Sign says, I had a subscribe button on the end screen for each video. It helped. That's a great idea. I do that too on the end screen, but few people get to the end. Have you ever watched? This is something we can talk about when we chat, Chris. when you look at your analytics, it's always like, 25% drop off in the first 30 seconds. Then you get a pretty good straight line. And then as soon as I say, thank you for watching this video, bam, everybody leaves. And then you miss the fun ending credits where I thank all the beautiful members. Usually some nice photography and music. So, Artisana. Hello, hola, friendly pen people. Hello to you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Antoinette's not a fan of television. I'm a fan of some things. Anybody keeping up with The Last of Us? The Last of Us is really brilliant. Surprisingly so, because it's territory that's been overdone. But it's really good. White Lotus was a lot of fun too. I really enjoyed that. Jesse Taylor. Hello, Hemingway. I bought my first expensive pen, a Visconti Bronze Age, and the nib was super dry and scratchy. Is that common? It shouldn't be. That, depending on what size, that doesn't sound right. So I would consider talking to whomever you bought it from. I bought mine from Brendan Schmidt over at Atlas Stationers, and I asked him to check it first. So he did. And I didn't mind that it wasn't, brand new, if you will, if you call it that, somebody checking it. It just makes me feel better that someone has looked at it before it left. So a really good, reputable pen company will do that for you. And I'm sure other pen companies will as well. But, Brendan's lovely. So it's very nice. You can call him directly or someone like him. Simon has a suggestion. I'm scrolling back, guys. Scrolling for Simon. Not finding Simon, but I am scrolling. All right, I'm scrolling a lot and not seeing Simon. Wait, I see one. Oh, I don't think that's it. All right, Simon, if you could say it again, I'd appreciate it. John Manuel says that Brendan checked his nib for him. Yeah, see, it's really a nice thing that any really good pen company will do. And Miss Marilyn Darling says, Visconti is infamous for having scratchy nibs. It really is, but that's why you need to have them checked by whomever you buy them from. I'm guessing it's an older one. From what I hear, their newer nibs are supposed to be better, a little more consistent. Isn't it a shame that you're talking about a $700 pen with nib issues? So, Jin Talus, The Last of Us is brilliant indeed. It really is. That third episode of The Last of Us is maybe the best episode of television I've ever seen. It was absolutely amazing. Gerald says, maybe you should create alternate endings for your videos like Marvel movies. Maybe I should. Maybe I should put an after credit scene on my videos. What do you think of that? Very good. Oh, okay. Oh, Simon, is this it? Okay. This is your suggestion. Should make vids on the history Sigma heritage brands like Esterbrook, but other brands like Barber, Pendleton, etc. Well, I'm shooting a Barber video with Nick from Stridewise this weekend. So that should be interesting. That will air on his channel, but I'll still promote it on this channel because Nick has a great channel, stridewise.com, and he's a very nice fellow. So I'm looking forward to meeting him and filming with him. So, Miss Marilyn Darling, you've contributed a lot tonight. Thank you. I'm glad you joined our merry band. I'm glad you were washed ashore on the island of misfit toys here with us. I have a Leonardo Momento Magico in the emerald with a broad nib, $200, and it's the smoothest pen I own. Well, that's good. My Visconti Mythos, or Mythos as I like to call it, is pretty good. But isn't that a Schmidt nib? I believe it is. Mara Christian. Hi, Mara. How are you? I grew up in a house with one television. My mother subscribed to TV Guide. We were only allowed to watch the shows she circled. Do you remember? Do you remember Grandpa only read the TV Guide, but he didn't have a television? Because once he had the TV Guide, he didn't need a television. Do you remember that from the Lost Boys? Good stuff. Very good stuff. MA says, my dad did the same thing. I didn't have too many parental controls, so that's probably why I'm the way I am now. Kaylee's here. Nice to see you. So lots of really exciting stuff. The biggest thing right now, guys, is Dark Academia. We are a few days away from the premiere. I should have done it as a premiere, but the thing is, it goes live noon on Friday, and I am always super busy Friday afternoons at work. So I can't really do a premiere, but wouldn't that be fun? We could watch it together. That'd be super fun. Jim Kerrigan was the remote control. You remember that? Like, can you turn the channel? That's so funny. Excuse me. Starting to lose my voice. Great Lakes Cruiser. Thanks to HJ, I'm honeymooning with my Conway Stewart Churchill. Buttery smooth, number 8 nib. That's a brilliant pen. Good for you. I still love mine. Still have it handy. I'm always reaching for it. Maybe the prettiest pen I own. It's definitely the pen that looks the most vintage. Almost scary how much like a vintage pen this looks. It's an absolutely brilliant pen. And an absolutely beautiful pen. I'm really proud of the video I did for this too. If you haven't seen it, go find it. The first one with the Churchill subplot. Super proud of it. Here's a nice combination, guys. This is a rose gold Twisby Eco stub with Krishna Moonview ink. This is a great combination. Some crazy sheen going on there. Metallic sheen like you've never seen. Also bought a brush pen. It's like a magic marker, but it's supposed to be a brush pen. I'll be honest, it just kind of feels like a magic marker. A little disappointed. I don't see how it's a brush. It's not the least bit floppy, but what do I know? Miss Marilyn, darling, that's a beautiful pen. Thank you. That's one of my favorites. That is one of my most beautiful pens, I think. Gerald, it's not a Conklin, my friend. That is a Conway Stewart, my friend. I'll show it to you again. This is a Conway Stewart. One of the ways you can tell is the lever. Just clearly there. Lever fill. Flat top with these cool Art Deco rings. It says Conway Stewart here. Oh, you can see it. See the Conway Stewart insignia there? It's also on the nib. I'll try to hold my hands. Try to get the light just right. Maybe you can see it. Right there. It's brilliant, right? There it is. Look at that. It's like Excalibur, you know? I like pretty things. I find that beautiful pens are almost like taking a vacation. You know, you're at work, stressful things are going on, and then you uncap your pen, and then the sun shines off of the nib at that perfect angle, and all the gold glitters, and then the nib touches the paper, and the ink starts to flow, and it glistens, and it shines, and sometimes it sheens, and then the nib just slides along as if on an ice rink across the page, forming these beautiful letters. And in that moment, there's a bit of transcendence where all the stress melts away and it's just you, your pen, that scribing noise of the nib, and those beautiful curling lines that never seem to end till you get to the end of a word, the end of a sentence, and then a dramatic full stop. That's why I love fountain pens. Amy D, I love that pen. I told a friend of mine about that pen from your video and he bought it. Oh, that's great. I hope they used my discount code, which is still active on that video. It's not easy to save money on some fountain pens. They never go on sale. Oh, his parents met in London during the war. That's brilliant. Wow. That yeah, I could see how that video could relate. So that's super fun. Lots of love for the honey tortoise shell. Kaylee says, HJ, you're waxing poetic. Isn't that what you guys expect from me? You know, at my best, right? I should write that down. Actually, I don't need to write that down because it's on this video. So I'll come back and I'll transcribe that and I'll put it in a future video. So good stuff. Miss Marilyn, darling, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. You guys are very kind. I'm always going to lean in to a poetic term. You have to see the poetry in your life. I think that's what makes life interesting. Guinness is nice, guys. It's a nice change. I'm usually doing wine, but Guinness is okay. Great Lakes Cruiser. I think the Penn family just debuted 2 new Conway Stewart Churchill models. Brilliant. Just brilliant. Good stuff. They make good pens. Amy D, that's what we're here for, HJ. Thanks so much. You know, I appreciate you guys being here. I really do my best to earn this. Whatever attention you give the channel, I just try to earn it every time we come out of the gate. Try to make the best, most interesting videos that I can, that are different, that are original, that say something real. That's what I try to do. So, very good stuff. Oh, Gerald, thank you so much. Very kind comments. So, that makes up for the dislike of whomever disliked our live this evening. Hurt my feelings. Dislike my live. I got all the trouble. I'm just making fun. It really doesn't bother me. That's what the button's there for. So very good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're an hour and a half in. So I had hoped to do an hour, and once again, I've gone over. But it's so much fun talking to you guys, and I'm glad this turned into a Q&A. We need to do that more often because it's you guys that bring me here and keep me motivated. So it's very good stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got Dark Academia in a couple days. If you've watched up to this point in this live and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I think you like my channel. So consider subscribing. Follow along with us. It's super fun. We have a lot of great discussions, a lot of great friendship. Thank you to the members of the channel. You guys keep me going. Thank you. And if you're a member, make sure you watch my whole video because there's always some credits for you guys at the end. I really appreciate it. We have a conversation with Chris Signs coming up very soon. We'll start promoting that. And that's going to be super fun. I'm excited for that. So everyone, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. I promise we will see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care and thank you. Good night.